All right. Well, I think we got some questions here this week before I pass out.
Oh, now here you go. He's milking it again.
Let's get this first one in. This was sent in to CornyDriveThru@gmail.com. Let me do that again.
I dare you to leave that in.
This is from CornyDriveThru@gmail.com. Robert Katzlos, I think it's
Robert Cat's ass? What did you just say?
CSATLOS.
Well, he's obviously a foreigner. He's not from here.
Hello, Jim and Brian. Longtime listener, first-time questioner. Just wondering what you guys think of the preview of AEW's action figures. Particularly the fact that Kenny Omega comes with pointable fingers. Do you think for added authenticity they should also have put a switchable jazz hands in the package? Love the show. Keep up the good work.
If they had a thing where you press the button on his back and his hands started spinning around and around, and then maybe they could even have a Kenny Omega robot where you could do like some kind of fucking wacky waving arm inflatable tube man dance. Hey, that actually, can somebody come up with, I would even contribute toward this, out front of the All Elite Wrestling pay-per-view, a Kenny Omega wacky waving an arm inflatable. Wait a minute, I'll try it again. A Kenny Omega wacky waving an arm inflatable tube man. Anyway, well, no, I mean, I'm happy they got the dolls. I have action figures, I should say. They were dolls back in the 80s. I'm glad they got the action figures. I've done well with mine. People like action figures. Of course, it all makes them look like a goddamn Ahmed Johnson, every single one of them. I've noticed that, the definition in these things. But I saw the spot on the last TV show that we reviewed, and I didn't mention it at the time because it was kind of a commercial spot and I halfway zoned out. But the point was they were showing them. It was a nice little package put together to make the action figures important with the fans and etc. But they were presenting them to the Young Bucks and to Olivier and to these guys. They're going, oh, this is so cool. I can't picture Steve Austin or The Rock going, oh, this is so cool. I mean, it's like it shouldn't it be? Yeah, it's just like me. You can use. I don't know the humbleness of them all to be big stars. What do you think?
Well, one of the things people have pointed out is that obviously a lot of work was done to get a really good facial image. Facially, get past the six packs and the giant arms. Facially, it looks like the guys. I mean, even that one young buck who makes the dumb faces, it has his dumb face. People have asked about your old WWF action figure in the late 90s.
Oh, and let me bust in here and say, yes, they have done a good job, and it was clear that the guy with the toy company was thrilled about it. And I think if he was showing that to other fans and people in the audience and crew members and things, and everybody's making over it, and then you have in some way the guys putting them over, but not just being such fawning, wow, this is really cool, I've never had this before type of, because that just, I don't know. But anyway, go ahead. My action figure, which looked like my face looked like a fucking Jaws of Richard Kiel from the James Bond movies. My mouth was so far open, it looked like I was about to take a bite out of somebody. And they made me even fucking fatter than Paul Bearer.
That was kind of my question. I mean, obviously the AEW guys, work was done to make them look like the AEW guys, and it seems like they all approved of the final product. Were you consulted at all about your figure, or was it just presented to you like, here, it's done?
Well, no, a combination of the two. They told me they were doing a figure of me. I'm like, oh, okay, fine. Great. I don't recall that it was, at the time more than a, I guess now that I think about how many royalties I got off of it overall over a period of a couple of years, it would be significant money to some people. But I don't know that it was 5 fucking figures, but that was 20 something years ago. Go back and look at some of those older dolls. I mean, a lot of the guys, it was hard to not get Hulk Hogan. So what he looked, because he looks like a cartoon anyway. But once they got down the fucking roster past the top sellers, a lot of the shit started looking alike because they were using a lot of the molds back in those days. And there wasn't the 3D, scanning. You didn't. I remember one time I was actually going to be in the second TNA video game. But the first TNA video game sold so abysmally that there was no second TNA video game, right? But I remember one specifically. I've been in Orlando for 3 days one time, doing like a pay-per-view and 2 days of TV taping. And literally, the last night of the taping, Terry Taylor comes to me and says, "Oh, can you come over here in the morning?" I said, "I'm leaving at 6 o'clock in the morning to go home." "Well, they want to scan you for the video game." "What? Well, I've been here. I don't know why. There was no good reason why. I'd been in the same place for 3 days. They wanted me to be the next morning when nothing else was going on. So I wait around a couple hours. I go over there. They put a skull cap on my head. They put these things. I stand in different ways. They scan me, all this shit. And it took like, an hour or whatever. And I was late, on the road to get home, etc. But I figured, okay, I'll get something out of it. Then they never even made the fucking game. But that was in 2009. They didn't have shit. The technology has grown exponentially. So they, both in terms of figures, in terms of, the way that the video games are more realistic, the figures are more realistic or can do more things. It's just because they can do more shit, but that's why I was hot with my doll from the WWF. I think they had to make a special body to make me look that fat, because even fucking Vader was jacked up, and suddenly I feel like, fuck, I'm not that fucking big. But anyway, those are collector's items now, as are my action figures, available at JimCornette.com. And at last count, there will be less than 320 more of these available in the calendar year here at JimCornette.com. Autographed.
And what was the process like for your current action figure in terms of your approval of the image?
Oh, well, Figures Toy Company is great. And I've known Steve Sandberg, the guy that owns it, for 20-something years. We used to work together in the WWF back in those days. And some things that he would do with the company and or appearances and et cetera. And it's amazing now where you send them basically, different pictures, like of here's an outfit that I like, and here's, pictures of me from the side and from the face. We didn't even have to do anything in person. They were able to take these and put them in their, goddamn Wayback Machine, whatever the fuck they do, and scan all the stuff and make it to where this figure looks. I've had people say the glasses are not right because they couldn't actually make, it was going to cost thousands of dollars to make these tiny little fucking wireframe glasses. So the ones they put on me I think I look like Drew Carey, but it comes in a bag in the fucking deal. But I look more like myself from what they were able to do off scanning the pictures than I did, 20 years ago. And especially, of course, I am a little bit more jacked up now in this version, but that may have been something that the client requested.